Okay, hi there, my name is Abir Basu and this is my lab mini project for ENGI 1020. What I've done is I've set up a game show with two contestants, each of whom will be using a separate button connected to the D4 and the D2 ports respectively. The button connected to the D2 port is considered user 1 and the button connected to the D4 port is considered user 2. I've also connected the LCD screen. The LCD screen is going to act as the scoreboard in this game show. So first let's look at how the code is written and then we look at how it runs. So firstly, I've obviously imported some modules and then I've initialized the two user scores. And then I've made this dictionary, which is basically the database for all the questions and answers. At the moment, I only have 9, but obviously that can be increased greatly. So the keys of this dictionary are the questions, and the answers are stored, are as the values of this dictionary. So from this dictionary, I've generated the questions list and the answers list. And the reason I've done this is because if I had to make two lists and then input the questions and answers to them, then that would have to be done by the user or by the programmer, and that would lead to mistakes. I mean, it would leave the scope for mistakes because the index of the question must match the index of the answer in the answers list. In two separate lists, the indexing needs to be same. So there would be a lot of scope for errors in that, and to prevent that, I've had the computer generate the list for me from this dictionary that I've made, which is much easier to input a question and answer into. And the reason for MCQ questions is obviously to make the code more effective, because more robust, because open-ended questions would easily lead to the user entering something that might be right but might not be interpreted as right by the computer. So anyway, after that, I've iterated over this piece of code for as long as each user's score is still below 30. So the reason for doing that is I had 9 questions, so I thought, okay, well, if you get 1/3 of the questions right, then you win the game. And that can be modified depending on the number of questions that we now have. Whatever this is, the moment you get that amount of points, the game ends. And that can also be seen in these conditions here. If the user 1 score is greater than or equal to 30, user 2 score is greater than or equal to 30, then you break out of the loop. So anyway, I've iterated over the questions list. I've printed out one question and then I've slept for 10 seconds. The reason I'm doing that is the time limit within which you can press one of these buttons on the Arduino board. So after 10 seconds, you check, okay, is digital read 2 true, or is digital read 4 true, or is neither true? So if digital read 2 is true, that means that user 1 has pressed the buzzer or the button, and you get the answer from them. You compare it with the answers list. Obviously, as I said, the index will be the same as the questions index. So if it matches, I say, okay, that's the right answer. I say, okay, you get 10 more points. And I say, okay, I print out the answer being correct. It's reflected on the console. And then I sleep for 2 seconds and it goes back to the next question. Now, the other possibility is, okay, you get the answer right and you're now above 30 points. So you automatically break after the loop, as I said. And the other possibility, the third possibility, is that, okay, you get the answer wrong, nothing doing, you just say, okay, incorrect answer. And the exact same thing has been done for user 2 pressing the buzzer. Obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be a fair game. So this else statement, which occurs, which evaluates to true only if neither user presses the button, just tells you, okay, you sleep for 2 more seconds. And that is basically giving you some additional time to press the button. And if you still don't press the button, well, it just continues on and prints out the next question. And over here, this statement, as you can see, I've printed out the user scores. As I mentioned, the LCD screen acts as a scoreboard. And once you're out of this loop, which can only happen if a user has won, then you check which user wins and you say, okay, you print out onto the console, okay, you won. So now let's see it in action. Let's run it once. So the first question, where are penguins naturally found? And I'm pressing the user 2 button right now, as you can see on the D4 port. Okay, I'll have to enter in which Arduino is on. So that question I won't be able to answer. And this won't always happen. It won't happen if I actually just use the Arduino board on something else first, which I should have done, but I forgot to do. But anyway, so this time I've pressed user 1's button, and I've said how many provinces are in Canada. I'll say user 1 knows the answer, and it's 10. So now you can see it outputs the new score of user 1. Now then, next question, I'll have user 2 answer the question. As you can see, I'm pressing the D4 button. So user 2 enter an answer. I'll say user 2 also knows this answer, Russia. So now you can see it outputs the new score. And this is actually reflected on the LCD screen, but I don't think it will be visible on the webcam. So user 1 enter the next answer. I'll have user 1 win the game, and we'll see how it ends. So now they got Queen Elizabeth right, and now they're going to get Charles Babbage right. So I'll wait 10 seconds for the timer to run out. See Charles Babbage. User 1 now has 30 points. Congrats, user 1, you win. So that's how the game ends. And that is the only way that the game can end. And I've assumed that out of 9 questions, 2 people will get at least 3 right. I think that's a reasonable assumption to make. But I guess with further studies, we can see if people are not getting 3 out of 9 right most of the time, then we'll have to change that number. But anyway, given resources and time, a lot of scalability is there's a scope for a lot of scalability in this program. You could use the Grove kit to add on maybe some sound effects, maybe some lighting changes and the LCD screen when a user gets it right or wrong, and there's really so much scope for scaling this project into something much bigger, into a proper real life game show which people are excited to use. So anyway, that was my project, my lab mini project, and I hope you enjoyed.